Championships, a night where fireworks might be ignited inside the building. It's that kind of powder keg which finds its way to the podium as the Chinese charge the vault. The Romanian women and their launching pad expect fireworks on floor X. Not to be missed, red-hot Russian Alexei Nemov, titan of tumbling, touchdown to gold. And a diva who's dynamite, Svetlana Horkina, unplugged on uneven bars. Canadian content Alexander Jelkov has thrust his way to high bar heaven, now to harness the power and win a medal. Fireworks, the finals, gymnastics pyrotechnics in the People's Republic of China. Welcome to the last of our 3 shows from the World Gymnastics Championships in the People's Republic of China on CBC Sports Saturday. The stars are out tonight in Tianjin. We're on the other side of the world. Scott Russell along with Carol Angela Orchard for the individual apparatus finals. And to coin an old phrase, this could be an explosive display of athletic talent.
With lots of passion fueling every performance. During the team and the individual all-round competition, emotions ran high, and I expect the same thing to hold true tonight. This is event finals, and it's the last chance for the best gymnasts in the entire world to compete together prior to the Olympics, so you know everyone will be pushing to make a memorable impact for Sydney.
You know, in many ways they've already made that impact in talking to respected judges and coaches from around the world, including Leonid Arkayev of Russia. Well, he says the level of gymnastics has never been higher at any time in the world.
Actually, I agree. Think about men's vaulting, for example. Right now, these guys are on another planet, but incredibly, the women are quickly matching their efforts. But on every event, Scott, I see more artistry and more innovation, and this is event finals. The specialists will shine.
Canadian stories. One man is in competition tonight. That's Alexander Jelkov of Montreal, the Pan American Games, Commonwealth Games high bar champion. He's made the final 8 here. He has a legitimate chance to be top 5. And on the women's side,
very good news for Canada, unfortunately at the expense of USA. American Kristen Maloney may be pulling out of floor finals. If she does, Canadian Yvonne Tusek is the first alternate, and she would replace her. But the best part of all, this is Tusek's strongest event. She has a world-class, eye-catching floor routine. She knows how to grab the judges and put on a show.
Lots to offer in our final show from China. Gold medals in each of the 10 apparatus finals, 6 for men, 4 for women. Talk about explosive. Elena Prodanova, our featured performer. Carol Angela's Chalk Talk gets into the gymnastics geometry, and we'll profile rising Canadian star Sasha Jelkov. Been a great venue for the championships, the People's Sports Center. All eyes turn to floor exercise for the men first, and the crowds have been great here outside the People's Sports Center. The individual event finals continue on the final day of the World Gymnastics Championships. CBC Sports Saturday, and here is Elena Zemlyalikova of Russia. The women are at the vault first.
Scott, I thought the opening of the show is perfectly suited to Zemlyalikova. She is a firecracker, unbelievably so explosive. No one twists faster than she does.
That's her coach, Leonid Arkayev, who's adjusting the beat board. One more look at this first vault.
Sukahara entry, double twist, knows exactly where the ground is and can easily anticipate that landing. Legs are a little separated off the board, but hey, that is an excellent performance.
The women will do 2 vaults. They'll average the scores. The first score for Zemlyalikova is a 9.737.
Now, her first vault had a start value of 10. This one has a start value of 9.9. Still a double twist, but the entry is different. There is one of the hardest working men in the sport, Leonid Arkayev, totally responsible for the men's team and the women's team. There's the round-off entry. That makes it a different vault. Beautiful double twist. Because she can twist so fast in the air, it allows her to land effortlessly.
9.718 is her average score, which puts her into first place early in the going here in this vault final. Now an Australian, and you tend to see other countries other than the Eastern European powers in the event finals. Trudy McIntosh, 15 years old.
And making history for her nation. Take a look at that. Front, layout with a full twist, never done. So difficult to twist when you're laid out. Beautiful front handspring, lots of heel drive to get that rotation. Peggy Liddick is not surprised that her athlete is in event finals. She has stated very clearly that she expects Australia to be among the top 3 nations by the time the Olympic Games roll around.
9.55, the first score for Trudy McIntosh. Now a completely different vault.
Now, the first one had trouble on the landing, but you cannot expect a better landing than that.
Elena Zemlya-Jakova, 9-7 plus to lead.
Now, there are some execution errors here, Scott. You can see slightly separated legs, slightly bent knees, so that will cost her right now. But hey, look for her to be a vaulting force in Sydney.
9.568 for Trudy McIntosh of Australia, currently second. Here's power personified, Elena Prodanova, 19 years old, of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. She's been a fixture of her country's gymnastics success in the late 90s, always challenging the limits. The gateway to success is clear for one Russian gymnast. It's about risk-taking. Chance for Elena Prodanova to get to the top means new boundaries.
It is necessary to push the limits, otherwise there would not have been a winner in a competition. The winner should always show something new, something extraordinary.
Extraordinary, exactly Prodanova's physique, not wispy or lean. No, she's muscular. Elena's power is explosive.
I'm blessed by nature and I'm given by God this quality of being very powerful and very quick. And I think this is my nature. In life I'm a very dynamic, very energetic, very joyful person. I can never stay on one and the same place. This is why I can't be different on the floor. This is my nature.
The coach is the Russian bear, Leonid Arkayev, legendary and uncompromising. For years, he has had his finger on the pulse of his country's gymnastics.
Arkayev is the head coach, not only for women, but also for our men's team. He is an extraordinary coach who knows exactly how to stimulate each one of us in order to get the best result. He is very strict, but also he's a very fair person.
Prodanova is building towards the climax of a career. All of the hard work and the power will be harnessed, she hopes, in time for the 2000 Olympics.
To win the Olympic gold medal, this is a dream of all Russia, and these World Championships were of extreme importance for us because we were able to have a look. Now we know much better our rivals, and we shall do our best to prepare ourselves that winning could be possible in Sydney.
Well, at 19 years of age, she's reaching the end of her competitive career, hoping to get to the Olympics and to be a force for Russia. She is a force at these World Championships. Prodanova has a big vault.
Oh, very big. Only the men can throw this vault. It's a rocher, and I honestly don't believe it can be done any better than that. She's the only woman in the world to even attempt this vault. I don't believe anyone else is even training it. Look at two saltos way up in the air. Now, she does land low, and I know the judges don't like that, but this vault is almost biomechanically impossible. The men's horse is 10 centimeters higher, and the men tend to be bigger and stronger. And yet, Prodanova can still crank this thing around.
Well, perhaps the judges did not like that low landing. 9.575 for an amazing vault. Here's the second.
Very nice. Soup 1.5, but the low mark on her first vault could push her right out of the medals. The judges have told us they're worried about the impact of other athletes trying her first vault. This one is much safer to do. And they're concerned about health and safety issues, and Prodanova is just so strong. She can handle it, but very few other women could.
9.6 on the second vault, 9.587 for Prodanova. Here's the all-around champion, Olaru of Romania.
A good effort. Yurchenko double twist. A completely different philosophy, Scott, for the Romanians. They do not push the envelope with regard to innovation and difficulty. This is a very nicely performed Yurchenko double twist. Round off entry, bumps it way up. Fairly clean line in the air. Slight hop on the landing will cost her 1/10.
Take a look at the score, 9-6-3-7. Not nearly as exciting or dynamic as Proudnova's first vault, and yet the score that much higher.
Now you'll really notice a difference in the second vault. Every gymnast must show two completely different vaults, and you saw how big Proudnova's are. But this will be a much simpler vault. It's a Phelps that has a start value of 9.8, and it tends to be a Romanian philosophy. Go in, go as clean as you can, go simple, and try not to show any deductions. So certainly not innovative, a little bit out of date, actually.
9.593 the average score, a low score on that second vault. There are the Canadian women in attendance here. Kate Richardson, Julie Beaulieu, and Emily Fournier watching the action here in the event finals. And they're taking a look now at a former world vault champion in Simona Amanar, the Romanian veteran performer. There's the coach, Octavian Bellew.
Certainly an advantage to go up last, and also an advantage to have her reputation on this event. Very dynamic. Watch how high she gets up off the horse, can maintain a nice stretch in the double twist. She'll put her hands down on that brown mat. It's a hand mat for this Yurchenko vault. Protects the wrist from real impact.
9.687. She has a ways to go to catch Elena Zamolodchikova of Russia, who averaged at 9.718.
Now remember, Romania, notorious for simple choice, especially in the second vault. Yes, staying true to form. It's a Phelps. It has a start value of 9.8. Certainly not in the ballpark of innovation compared to Proudnova. It's clean. She doesn't give away many deductions, just that slight pike in the air.
Well, the average score, a 9.631 to take the silver medal, but Leonid Arkayev and Oleg Ostapenko of Ukraine clearly upset that Proudnova was bumped from the medals here in the vault. Even though the gold goes to Zamolodchikova of Russia, Amanar the silver, Olaru the bronze. For Simona Amanar, a look ahead to team success in Sydney.
Because we have 4 gold medals in world championships. She hoped to win finally a gold medal with the team in the Olympics.
The 97 champ Simona Amanar stands second to a young Russian in China. The World Championships from Tianjin will continue with the pommel horse in a moment. Gymnastics all around the world has to do with critical angles. It's the subject of Chalk Talk with Carol Angela Orchard, and I'm told we're all queued up.
Billiards is a game of angles, and it's not easy to master. You know where you want to go, so you take aim from cue ball to target, over the slate, and hopefully into the pocket. The key to success is geometry. Gymnastics is a lot like that. For example, we've often seen gymnasts in competition perform routines without any obvious major errors, and yet they don't score well. The reason? Their angles were slightly off. The judges are critically assessing every line, every angle, before they reward the valuable bonus points. That gives them their start value. In gymnastics, you could say the degree of difficulty is taken literally. Nowhere is the concept of angles more obvious than on rings. The aim is to build perfect body angles into the routine. This gymnast has straight legs, but the angle of his shoulders in this element is too high. By way of contrast, the next athlete has a much better result by getting his shoulders low in the inverted cross. This is a much more difficult task and requires tremendous strength and flexibility. A closer look tells the geometric story. The shoulders are not in a horizontal line with the hands. Therefore, the judges will not give full credit for this element. Shoulders here are low, a much better angle for the inverted cross. It's a dramatically different calculation, and the judges don't need a protractor to figure it out. On bars, the women deal with angles throughout their routines. Straight lines are key, and maximum extension is required. Judges notice the angles, which indicate less than perfect dismounts. Although this effort is clean, it's not as difficult because of the angle at the hips. It's much easier to rotate in this pike position rather than keeping it beautifully stretched right to the landing. Judges reward the effort, which is displayed as a gymnast keeps everything tight. This is the attention to detail which results in success. With every swing, another perfect line for the observer to admire. It's not easy, but it gets results. At premier events like the World Championships, a fraction or a simple degree could change everything. The sum total of all the correct angles is often a gold medal.
High hopes for the Chinese women here in Tianjin. Ling Jia, 17 years old, hoping to get a line on a medal on the uneven bars.
And talk about all the right angles. That is China's trademark. That is straight, it's stretched. Beautiful inverts. High flying Jaegers. The Chinese have the right package on bars. Even little things like this. Watch how she gets to the high bar. She flies up there. Transition moves from low bar to high bar. That's where a lot of athletes struggle. Chinese crowd loves the Tkachev. Just the dismount to go. Double layup. Perfect line in the air.
Well, the crowd loves it. 17-year-old Ling Jia of Hunan, China.
This is her transition to the high bar. A lot of athletes will stop, put their feet on the bar, and merely lean toward the high bar. She has lots of amplitude there, and look at this. Watch the line in her hips. Completely stretched. The angle is perfect on that double layup.
And no step when she landed a beautiful, beautiful 9-8-1-2 for Ling Jia. We've already seen the explosiveness of 19-year-old Elena Prodanova. Now we'll see what she has to offer on the uneven bars.
And it's interesting, Scott, she can transfer that explosiveness to big swing. It's a characteristic of this one event. The women are expected to have huge swing. You can see how stretched she is. That Tkachev was incredible. Straight body. Oh, a little crooked, but because she is so strong, she just pulled it right back to the bar. Winding up. Full twisting double back.
Well, no one denies the talent of Prodanova, but so far she's been just outside the medals.
Her line is not quite as clean as the Chinese. That straight body Tkachev is impressive, but we do see slightly soft knees, slightly flexed feet occasionally through the routine, and that takes away from the total look. Full twisting double back is right on the money.
Fourth in the individual all-around, fourth on the vault. Currently second on the unevens with a 9.75 for Elena Prodanova of Russia. Another Chinese gymnast now, Wang Mandan, younger than Ling Jia, 16 years old.
And in the training gym, Scott, the entire world gymnastics community comes to a stop when China comes to this event. So innovative, taking this event into the next millennium. Now it's interesting, her overshoot was not to handstand on the low bar. But watch her pull down on this bar to generate the momentum to get up over the top. Beautiful inverts. Coach is standing in for the Tkachev just for safety. That was a very good routine, but I think Ling Jia's was actually better.
Wang Mandan had a 9.8 in the all-around competition. That was the best score in that competition, but Ling Jia has already been 9.8-1-2 here.
Take a look at her hands. Inverts, flies high into her Jaeger. Now there's the move. It didn't go to handstand. At this world level, the expectation is the handstand would actually be there. Very clean in the tuck position. Knees are right together.
9.8-2-5. Wang Mandan does indeed take the lead over her teammate Ling Jia. Victoria Karpenko of Ukraine was second in the all-around competition. A very accomplished and experienced gymnast.
With impeccable form, Scott, it is really difficult to find an execution error with those legs. Glued together, right down to her toe point. Ginger release, immediate packed salto to the low bar. Judges want to see big trick connected to the next big trick. Now the Tkachev was a little bit flat. The judges want to see more air time before she catches, and it's only about a 10th deduction, but that could cost a medal.
Well, very clean and efficient for Victoria Karpenko of Ukraine. But can she be in the same category as the Chinese, who are well above 9-8?
Right from her inverts. Pirouette is going to swing down. Ginger release, and watch the elbows slightly bent, but those legs are always perfect. Double out. Let's take a look at the angle. Truly laid out right to the ground.
9.725. Remember that Wang Mandan 9.825. Ling Jia 9.812. A long ways to go for Svetlana Horkina of Russia, but if anybody can do it, she's the one.
And she has the advantage of a perfect spot in the start order. She's up toward the end. Unlike poor Ling Jia, who really suffered going up first, the judges like to hold on to those scores just a little bit. But Horkina is on fire. There's her signature move, named in her honor. I mean, how do you top Ling Jia? I think Svetlana just did it.
Looks up to the ceiling, and the fans know that is an outstanding routine. 20-year-old Svetlana Horkina, silver medal at the World Championships in '97 on this event.
We talk about innovation. This truly is the definition of innovation on this event. There isn't one ordinary traditional skill in the entire routine. Everything richly innovative, lots of variety, and you don't get a better landing than that.
9.837 for Horkina of Russia to put herself in first place ahead of Wang Mandan of China with a 9.825. Now, here is Maria Olaru of Romania.
And certainly a surprising world champion. Fairly stock routines, but she went through the entire competition showing very few errors. But take a look at this. Her feet are on the bar. That sole circle really shouldn't be done at this top international level, especially in bar finals. And that's the difference between the Russians, Chinese, and then the traditional Romanian style. Stock, clean routines, very few deductions, but not terribly innovative.
Latest in a long line of successful Romanian gymnasts, one of the youngsters in Octavian Belou's stable, Olaru.
Staccato release is extremely well performed. The routine is just generally a little slow, a little sluggish, but try to find an actual deduction.
But can it generate the marks needed to win? Not enough. 9.712 for Olaru. That makes her sixth. Here are the final results. The gold medal goes to Svetlana Horkina of Russia. Wang Mandan of China is second. Ling Jia, her teammate, takes the bronze medal. Svetlana Horkina, gold individually, with reflections on her team that finished second. Here to Romania.
The team was very good prepared and showed a very good shape, and routine is good. But most of girls is very young and not very experienced. And when they perform here, they show a little bit not so good like they were prepared. But she hopes that in Sydney they will be in a better shape.
Svetlana Horkina, arguably the sport's most magnetic performer. The ringmasters are on deck. We'll return to Tianjin and the World Gymnastics Championships in a moment. Scott Russell joined by Carol Angela Orchard, anticipating the women's balance beam. Your favorite event. Let's give the specs. It's about 5 meters long, 1 meter and a quarter off the ground. But here's the big one, only 10 centimeters wide. And for Ling Jia and her compatriots, not much room to work with.
Oh, no room for error on this event, and that's fairly obvious. But I guess the reason I like this event, the athletes have to be able to develop every skill, physically and mentally, to be successful. It's not enough just to have the tricks. They have to be so aggressive to make them happen. Think of it as a stage. It's a lot like doing a floor routine. But way up there on only 10 centimeters, Ling Jia is making it look effortless. Slightly off direction on her full twisting chest roll, but only a minor 0.1 deduction. Chinese literally own this event with skills just like that. That's a yang bo jump. Her head was all the way back. She could actually see her foot in the air, but could not see the beam. Now, we talked about a complete package, Scott. Physically, technically, and psychologically competent athletes will win this event. And China has had trouble over the years winning on beam. They've always had the best routines, but psychologically, they often cracked under pressure. No cracking here. That was a lovely routine. Very, very composed.
Crowd roars its approval for Ling Jia, who's already won a bronze medal on the uneven bars.
Punch front salto. Again, a blind landing right into a changement jump.
9.775 up early in the order. Ling Jia of China has the lead after a near flawless routine. Now from Ukraine, tiny Olga Rashupkina.
Now, unlike the other events, on balance beam, it's almost an advantage to go up. If you can nail your routine like Ling Jia just did, that really puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the competitors. I'm really very impressed with the next generation of athletes coming through this World Championships. Lots of confidence, very composed.
I have to ask you this question. Does a smaller gymnast who is closer to the beam, like the Ukrainian, have an advantage?
Well, actually, height really doesn't come into play on this particular event. Certainly, a smaller athlete can twist and flip a lot easier. They rotate faster. But think of the elegance of Svetlana Horkina on this event. As long as they can control their own body through beautiful moves like that side salto, height is of no advantage or disadvantage on balance beam. Complete and utter silence from 10,000 people. All eyes on Olga. And it absolutely has no effect. Extremely focused as she prepares for the dismount, and it is a tough one. 2 back handsprings into a double back. Needs to absorb that landing, but that was a very impressive routine.
Yeah, just the one step there.
Aerial walkover shows nice flexibility right into another aerial with a quarter turn.
9.737. Second place couldn't quite catch Ling Jia's 9.775. And now another Ukrainian gymnast, Olga Teslenko, 18 years old, from the Dynamo Club and the Olympic Center in Kiev.
Already her mount reminds me of the controversy surrounding the Canadian team on balance beam. Teslenko didn't connect the salto with the jump, and the judges were very, very critical of the Canadian athletes with regard to their connections. And I guess we can all take tough judging. I imagine it's the consistency of those tough decisions. You can see Teslenko pauses in between each element. Judges want to see crisp connections with no doubt that there actually is a combination. Every time an athlete connects a skill like that, although again I see a pause, the judges award valuable bonus points, and that's what every athlete is trying to achieve. The highest possible start value would be 10.
Ukraine won the bronze in the team competition. A well-coached team. Oleg Ostapenko, veteran coach for the Ukrainians.
Switch quarter. Oh, now there is a beautiful display of determination and experience combined. It would have been easy to fall off there, but she almost worked the instability into her choreography. Another difficult dismount. Round off back handspring. So easy to go crooked on, but she is nice and straight right into that double salto.
But there seem to be pauses in her routine.
That's true, Scott. Right there. She should be jumping right up into the air as soon as she lands the salto. And again, another pause. And it's important that there's consistency in the judging deductions.
And a display of the individual judges' scores reflects an inconsistency. She does score a 9.587 to put herself in third position. Here is the all-around champion, Maria Olaru of Romania. And in the all-around competition, she had a very strong 9.737 on the balance beam.
Romania certainly known for consistency. They really take the rule book and use it to their advantage. Not a lot of flash, but solid, dependable, reliable routines. Now that's the same jump that Teslenko just struggled on, but Olaru, very confident. Punch front immediately into her jump, so obviously no pause there. Second jump, head all the way back. That's named a Yang Bo, after the famous Chinese gymnast. And that's a Shishinova. Notice how her hips come down onto the beam. The international judges are talking about actually devaluing those jumps. They don't like the direction that most coaches are taking with that. They don't want to see the athletes landing on their hips on beam. You can hear her teammate coaching her every step of the way.
Nice finish for Maria Olaru. A very stoic approach, but very clean.
Certainly works for them. There is a combination. Punch front right into an extended tuck jump. No pause.
9.65 to bump Teslenko. Now in third position, the Romanian all-around champion Olaru. Here is the younger teammate, Andreea Raducan.
And Raducan has a distinctly different style than Olaru. This is the trickster of the team. Back handspring, full twisting back tuck. Took a slight step backwards, but maintains excellent control. Tremendous confidence from the entire Romanian team, considering this is their very first World Championships. Octavian Bellew was telling us there's no secret, there's no surprise. These athletes train 7 days a week, 7 hours a day. And you can certainly see it reflected here. This is probably the one weakness of the routine. She wants to rest right now, so she adds a lot of choreography, waving the arms around here, trying to keep moving, because if you stop, it's a deduction. And she needs to get extra air time for that dismount, and she does it beautifully.
Raducan, 16 years old. She was 4th all-around at the European Championships, 5th all-around here in Tianjin.
Here's her full twisting back tuck. So difficult to do because she has to twist and flip and yet stay straight on that narrow 10 centimeters.
Great score, 9.762, but the crowd knows it's not enough to catch Ling Jia. 9.775 will be her score, and that's enough to win another gold medal for China here at the People's Sports Center. Final results in the women's balance beam. Ling Jia, 9.775. Raducan takes the silver. Rashupkina of Ukraine takes the bronze. Size at the World Gymnastics Championships in Tianjin. Elena Prodanova, 19 years old, of Russia. All night long, all championships long, she has been just outside the medals.
And some would say unjustly so. She packs so much into a routine. Arabian double front, punch front, sky high. see the muscles in those legs. So strong, and she knows how to work the timing of this floor. Layout, double front. Even the strongest men, Scott, do not perform that skill. And now it's time for her to have a little fun in the choreography. She was telling me, Scott, she is disappointed not to have medaled as of yet, but it won't make her change her strategy. She likes to push the envelope. She wants to be innovative. She wants to be recognized for being different.
14 years a gymnast, certainly hoping to power Russia to the Olympic Games in Sydney. Under a year away, the Russians were silver in the team competition here behind Romania.
But it'll be an interesting battle, Scott. The judges are looking for deductions, and she just showed them one. That landing is too deep. She should have been more upright.
Well, the final effort for Elena Prodanova at these World Championships.
Jam-packed difficulty. Arabian double front, cannot see the ground, anticipates the timing perfectly. No deduction on that line, but the third line's going to cost her.
Fourth all around, fourth on the vault, but Prodanova is first now, 9.737 on the floor. It's early. 19 years old, of Cambridge, Ontario, Yvonne Tusek, the Pan American Games floor champion, one of the most expressive athletes anywhere in the world.
Well, I think for me, the floor exercise, it's a way to not just do a routine, but tell a story almost, and really involve the audience, and to kind of leave the audience with something to think about when I'm finished. It's not really just another routine for me to put out there. I give everything of myself when I do my floor routine, so I think that's what it means to me, to give something back to the audience and leave them with something to think about.
Not only a tremendous testament to the ability of Yvonne Tusek, but a tremendous opportunity to impress judges here.
Definitely. This is her international trademark. Great start. Arabian double front. She tries to quickly get into the second line while she's still rested. 2.5 punch front, keeps it right in bounds. And one thing you can always count on from Tusek is she always gives everything she's got. So many people have tried to define this choreography. It's really off the wall and suits her perfectly. Not many people could get away with it.
Now changes gear.
And that's a good musical selection, Scott. Right now, she's tired. The music is really revving her up for that triple twist.
Well, these have been great world championships for Yvonne Tusek. There's the coaching staff of the Canadian team. The Canadians have qualified for the Olympic Games as a team.
And she's following in the historic footsteps of Larissa Loeing and Stella Ume, just making a final at a World Championships.
Andrei Rodyenko, the national coach, Elvira Sadi, who is Tusek's personal coach, 9.537 is a nice score in a Floor X final for Yvonne Tusek. But here is the woman to watch, Svetlana Horkina of Russia, already won the uneven bars, and this will be dramatic.
One and a half through to 1.5. Svetlana is a true performer. Fantastic facial expressions. Not many athletes have the confidence to really live their performance. And you can see it just in the sparkle in her eyes. She really reaches out to the audience, Scott. She purposely tries to make eye contact with them and the judges. And it has a great effect.
Tremendous choreography. She is the reigning European champion. Won a silver in the floor exercise at the 97 Worlds, but all eyes look to her in this event.
2.5 punch front. She's graceful everywhere, even in the tumbling lines. It is a breathtaking performance.
And you said she reaches out to the audience. Symbolically, she does so at the end of the routine. Her coach, Leonid Arkayev, here at the World Championships. Svetlana Horkina, 20 years old.
Well, there's the power of Prodanova, and then there's the beauty of Svetlana Horkina. Even the tumbling lines are just so pretty. Straight lines.
9-7-8-7, straight to the top here on the floor exercise. Could it be another gold medal for Horkina? Dongfan Zhou now of China, 16 years old, of Hebei province, and of course she will be the fan favorite and could even challenge Horkina.
Well, she's off to a terrific start. The Arabian double front, which we've seen now from several competitors, is really high enough. She almost lands on straight legs. A lot of athletes will bend deep down in the knees because they're a little lower. The Chinese national team has worked extremely hard to improve their choreography. And we do see more expression. Certainly not to the extent of Svetlana, but definite improvement in tumbling and choreography for China.
Well, a much smaller gymnast, definitely less elegance, but all kinds of tricks, all kinds of expressiveness.
Actually, just to be pushing for a medal here in a floor exercise final shows how far their program has really come, Scott. Once only known for bars and balance beam. Now they're saying, hey, we're learning to dance and we have really improved our tumbling. And now we're contenders.
Final exclamation mark for China on the floor exercise. Fan Jiodong was 6th all around at these World Championships.
Now the coaching staff was looking a little perplexed there. They know the landing of her last line was a little bit low, but take a look at this. 2.5 punch front. No deduction there.
9-7-3-7. That was the exact score that she had in the all-around competition. Fan Jiodong is now 2nd, and now the young Romanian, Andrea Raducan.
Romania.
Holding true to form, she's the trickster of the team. Starts with a nice double layout. Kept it stretched right to the ground.
Her 9-8-3-7 on the floor exercise in the individual all-around competition was the best score in this event.
And you know that's got to be a big boost to her confidence. First World Championships, highest score on floor exercise. Really setting an excellent reputation for herself heading into Sydney. 2.5 punch front, a very popular line combining back tumbling and front tumbling. Judges love it.
And you have to think that the head coach, Octavian Bolu of Romania, thinks that the future is safe. Raducan was 5th all around here. She was on the gold medal team. She has a silver on the beam. Olaru, her teammate, won the all-around competition. Romania is on a roll heading towards the Olympic Games.
young team, Scott, but they know how to win.
And the youngest member, there's Octavian Ballou, the head coach. We talked about him. Simona Amanar, the veteran, along with him. And this is Andrea Raducan, only 16 years old.
Tremendous power she gets out of those legs. Double out, lifts it up, chest needs to be a little bit higher.
And there's her result, 9.837. Again, equals her score from the all-around competition to take the lead. And with the final say, Simona Amanar, the older teammate.
Now that's a double layout. She is nice and high compared to Raducan with a little lower. I think this is going to be an interesting battle between the veteran and the newcomer.
Amanar had high hopes at these championships, hopes of being finally the gold medal champion all around. That didn't come to be. She has won the world championships on the vault, was second here, and now her final chance to win a gold medal on the floor exercise.
Certainly tumbling extremely well. The music and the choreography don't have the passion. Doesn't really give her the chance to express herself like some of the other athletes we've had the pleasure to watch. But remember what the Romanian strategy is. Keep it simple, show very clean routines, and the judges cannot deduct you. Full twisting double back in the last line, impressive at any time, but when you're fatigued at the end, that's a veteran.
There's Raducan, her teammate, Svetlana Horkina of Russia, applauding for Simona Amanar of Romania.
Here's her first line. You can see the increase in airtime compared to Raducan. Now watch her chest. She lands completely vertical. Beautiful execution.
Two generations of Romanian gymnasts, Raducan on the left, Amanar on the right, under the guidance of Octavian Ballou. Raducan this time wins the gold medal. Amanar has a 9.8. And Svetlana Horkina of Russia, well, she's bronze in the floor X. Once again, a look at the final results. Romania 1-2, Raducan and Amanar. Horkina of Russia takes the bronze medal. For Yvonne Tusek, well, she was 8th, an event final, and a lot to look forward to.
Well, I was really happy to have the opportunity to compete against some of the best girls on floor in the world. So for me, it was amazing to be out there with those girls.
Is there room to grow in that routine? I mean, even further than you've gone, a 9.537?
Yeah, I think there's always improvement to make, and it wasn't one of my best floor routines. I know I could have done better, so now it's a matter of going back to the gym and perfecting the little things.
Now here is an explosive performer, to be sure, Jesus Carballo of Spain. First saw him at the World Championships 1996 in Puerto Rico. That was his coming out party, and he can really move on the high bar.
A completely different routine compared to Sato. This one is so original. Wow. He winds it up right from the start. That's named in his honor. No one does it except him. You never know what to expect. His elements are world original. Shows lots of variety. Double twisting, double layout.
And he sticks the landing. And receiving congratulations over there is Jesus Sr., who coaches the women's team, but Junior was beautiful on the high bar.
Oh, it certainly was. Look at the one arm. Right into a ginger. So original.
And he gets the results from the judges. 9.762 for Jesus Carballo. Right. Well, Canadians hoping to applaud so much this far from home. Sasha is the subject of their devotion right now. He's Alexander Jeltkov, last man up with so much to gain. Alexander Jeltkov is on a mission. The searing strength is being refined, energized with a new dedication.
I remember the time, it was December 98 when I got really serious. It was right after Commonwealth Games. I had a back injury, I got out of shape, I gained a lot of weight and training was going just so-so, and I just got tired of it. I knew the time is running out, and I have to do something about it if I want to be in the gym.
Experience under the belt, no fat around the waist. Lean and keen, Jelkov means business. A single mind to succeed.
I like to train by my own, but it's always 50-50 with coach. I have to know that he supports me and he thinks that this is right, because you gotta go 50-50 with coach to achieve the goal.
The goal is the podium's pinnacle. Once a Soviet, Georgian Jelkov wears Canadian colors now and turns them gold on the high bar.
I started to practice this routine 2 years ago now. I'm really solid, really confident with this routine, and it has a high start value, high difficulty, and at the same time, for me, it's easy. I can hit it anytime almost. And I won Commonwealth Games, Pan American Games, and hopefully now I'm gonna try to medal here at Worlds with this routine.
Yeah, Pan Am Games champion, Commonwealth Games champion. Good bloodlines here for Canadian gymnast Curtis Hibbert. Won medals at the World Championships on the high bar in '87. That was a silver, and '92 a bronze.
And Curtis sent a fax to Sasha saying, I know you can do this. I know you can medal. It's a matter of being in the right place at the right time. And he is hanging on for dear life, still in the right place. 2 Kovacs now. That's very impressive, Scott. So Sasha is showing the judges good content. It'll come down to the dismount. He must nail it.
That puff of smoke, the chalk on the mat, a perfect dismount for Sasha Jelkov. He did catch a little short in the arms on one release.
This has me a little worried. See the elbows? They're bent, and they're bent again right there in the giant. It'll be a matter of the judges to decide the deduction, but look at this. Picture perfect, and it is the final impression.
9.675 in all around, but he's a 9.7 better today to win the silver medal. Alexander Jelkov of Canada medals at the World Championships. Well, we knew he could be top 5, but he's all the way up to number 2 with room to grow. Carballo wins the gold, Jelkov the silver, Yang Wei wins the bronze medal. But the big story for Canada, Alexander Jelkov with a silver medal.
It was hard. I was the last guy up, and I waited for a long time, and it didn't quite went like I wanted, but I fought hard for it, and when I nailed the dismount, I knew that I'm going to be in a medal position, and it was kind of hard to realize that I belong here. I'm in the top, but it feels good.
It's been quite a year for you, what with the Commonwealth Games Championship, a Pan American Games Championship, a silver medal at the World Championships. Does this lead you to believe that you can be even better than that?
Definitely. There's always challenge, and the silver, it's behind the gold, so that's what I like. Next time I want to come back stronger and go for gold. Probably judges gonna recognize me more, and at the Olympics, of course, I'm looking for a gold medal.
I want to ask you about the championships in general for Canada. The women's team qualified for the Olympic Games. This happens to you, and you did well in the individual all around. Would you say that it's been kind of a nice World Championships for your country?
It is very positive, and we're showing now that Canada is good, and we are great athletes, and we can have a future in gymnastics, and we can fight for medals, and I don't see why not. And I also want to thank my old coaches, first of all in Montreal, and my present coach, Igor, and my mother and father. Thanks.
Way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Spanish gold, but treasure for the Canadian Jelkov. Nonetheless, he's getting used to the podium. Sasha shines again in Tianjin. We'll return in a moment. Think of a better World Championships in gymnastics for Canada, and I wonder if it was all symbolized by Alexander Jelkov of Montreal and his silver medal on the high bar.
And there was so much pressure on his shoulders. Everyone was hoping that Sasha could salvage this World Championships for the Canadian men's team, and he did exactly that. And it wasn't easy. He had to fight through that high bar routine. And you know, Scott, by being last up, that makes him the final world competitor of this millennium.
We shouldn't forget about what the Canadian women have been able to accomplish here. Most recently, Yvonne Tusek of Cambridge, Ontario, on the floor exercise, 8th in the world is quite an accomplishment.
Oh, 8th in the world, indeed. That's something to celebrate. But it doesn't stop there for the Canadian women. Kate Richardson's individual performance, 19th in the world. That was very impressive. But the reason the women came to Tianjin, the most important accomplishment of all, was to qualify a full team for the Olympic Games, and they did that. They sacrificed a lot, a very disciplined team. They pulled together, they pushed each other, they supported each other, and it worked beautifully.
Only one question now for the Canadians as they leave China, and that is this as good as it gets in this sport, or is there room to grow in gymnastics?
Definitely room to grow in Canadian gymnastics. And take a look at the results. The women's team was less than 1/100th away from 9th, and 8th is very realistic, and they're already planning on that for Sydney. And Sasha had a couple of mistakes on high bar, as we saw, so he knows he's better than that, and he has his sights set on gold for Sydney.